Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, and welcome to Dev Talks. This is Aadi. I have somebody special with me for the first time on Dev Talks, Miss Amrita Bhinder. She's a columnist. She's has a very strong opinion about things. As a matter of fact, she writes quite a bit on her Twitter profile, and which is must follow. It's her name, so you can just search for it and do give a follow to her. She was also the former spokesperson for the BJYM, which is basically part of the BJP. So we should be able to get some insights कि भाई अंदर क्या हो रहा है, क्या दिखते हैं, क्योंकि आपने organization छोड़ दी हो, but you still realize you still know what's happening inside. So Namaskar, nice to have you on the show, and I keep following your Twitter page with a lot of interest. And let's hear you speak as you write on Twitter as well.
So, Adi, thanks for having me. Wonderful to be here. As far as my political insights go, they are normally totally off. But when it goes to, let's say, the world narrative, I think I tend to get that right. And it's more common sense driven than sources.
Mhm.
It's more inclinations towards connecting the dots, that kind of scene. So,
Awesome. Well, connecting the dots is a very important phrase on this channel. So
yeah. And
just
that's
to
all
let you,
we've got to go by because,
yeah,
as we have seen, sources is not a thing anymore. Prime Minister made sure of that.
sources, huh? Media
So,
sources. Aren't these the same sources that were saying some time ago? If you remember, chalo, let's start with this media. I there's a particular channel. I've said the name too many times, so now I don't want to say it again because they'll come after me with a stick now. Somebody told me don't do it again. So this particular media channel kept on putting out source-based information. टीडीपी को कैबिनेट में 3 बर्थ चाहिए, उनको डिफेंस चाहिए, उनको आईटी चाहिए, उनको ये चाहिए, जेडीयू ने तो होम मिनिस्ट्री तक मांग लिया था। एंड आई हैव दोस ट्वीट्स सेव्ड विद मी बाय द वे। दीस वर देयर
yeah, so
सोर्सेस।
the media channels, we take them too seriously. To my mind, I think they have basically got a wish list. They're suggested as news. A lot of people pick up on it. It's a buzz. They get some TRP. They don't have any accountability, responsibility. They don't even care for whether you think of them as a good source or a bad source. It doesn't matter to them. There are too many of them also in the first place. So they're scrounging for space in that same little bit, which is Indian politics. They never tell you about anything outside of Indian politics. And the Indian politics, they have got it so wrong every time. See the exit polls year after year. This time they were very pro BJP. All these years they were anti BJP, but they were always off the mark.
दैट्स द थिंग, एवरीबॉडी इज फाइटिंग अबाउट दिस एग्जिट पोल। सब लोग बोल रहे हैं ओ दिस वाज अ कंस्पिरेसी एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ। हमारे तो एक शहजादे साहब बोलते हैं यहाँ पर तो स्कैम हो गया। चलो वो ठीक है, बट people have forgotten पहले कितना एंटी बीजेपी होता था, what 2021 तक in the exit
First,
polls.
they would tell you that it's never going to happen. Nobody from BJP is going to get it, and then they used to get shocks after shocks. Now they are saying BJP is really going to go post 400. They went for it like hook, line, and sinker. I actually didn't want to comment at the time because I was enjoying it so much. So I don't want to spoil the rain on anybody's parade. So, but the
They,
thing is, if you look at
they got the vote share right though. They got the vote share right.
but the BJP has done very well for the vote share part. Second is as far as the seats is concerned, I think it may be the best bet right now, given that the sting of BJP, the hate towards it has come down. All quarters seem slightly happy. They are not pushed into a corner because they were believing if BJP had gone 400 past, these guys would have lost their mind. And we don't know what would have happened in the country. So now, at least opposition doesn't play a good role. They always trying to criticize. They don't say what the country should be doing. They just say what Modi should not be talking about. So if we had a good opposition, this was a good number for the opposition to have a stake. It would have been. It's like a thriving democracy. It's in this big circus. You still found that things fell into place as they should in a thriving democracy. And you gotta give it to the prime minister. He pulled it off, and there were so many inimical forces against him.
Would you say
without
would you
everywhere.
say thriving democracy wink wink or thriving democracy in the real sense?
I honestly
Why am
think in
I
the real
ask,
sense,
why am I
because
asking this?
yeah, because no, thriving democracy in the real sense, because wait, the representatives are made out of us. So look at our discourse article. The standard is so low, तो अब आपका opposition वही कर रहा है.
That's the thing.
यहाँ पे हम चिल्ला रहे हैं on Twitter ऐसे पता नहीं we are making so much sense, but if we tone it down and we come across as coherent people who speak a little bit with manners, there's a chance we may come across as a good-looking nation. Right now, we are just on each other's throat, and it seems like a agony anti platform. Everybody who has a little bit of agony goes to Twitter and then airs it. It's a democracy.
वो था ना एक last night, so I threw this wild theory out. I've got a lot of people calling me up and saying, भाई ये कहाँ से आया तेरे पास? So I threw a wild theory. हाँ, wild मतलब बोलते ना, this is called conspiracy theory and you love it.
I love conspiracy theories.
Modi, Amit Shah and Doval have fixed this election so that Modi gets 240. ठीक है? अच्छा, तो EVM went out of the window, which
हाँ
evidently it did.
हाँ
Democracy, ये वो western narrative सारे डब्बे में गए, which evidently they did.
हाँ.
So end result ठीक है, थ्योरी थोड़ी सी टेढ़ी है कि मोदी ने, दोवल ने एंड अमित शाह ने ये पूरा फिक्स करके रखा था योगी के साथ कि साहब ऐसा है, यूपी को थोड़ा सा ढीला छोड़ दे, वील पुट न्यू कैंडिडेट्स हु आर नॉट गोइंग टू विन, डोंट वरी, हम गवर्नमेंट हम ही बना रहे हैं, कोई टेंशन नहीं है, लेकिन एक झटके में हम ऑपोजिशन को भी उड़ा देंगे, जितने नैरेटिव्स हैं सारे उड़ा देंगे, एंड उसके बाद यार कर लेंगे आगे, फिर क्या है, थोड़े से इधर उधर करना ही है, वो तो हो ही जाएगा. तो
I can actually go further on. I said the Galactic Federation got involved, and we got some commands from lunar module saying कि आप ना 240 ले लो, ठीक है? There's no end.
there's
So
no end to it.
who's to say, and who's to say कि हमारे जो opposition है, they're not some alien species dressed as human beings? Because थोड़े से off तो लगते हैं मुझे कभी-कभी.
But coming to kind of
So
real life
conspiracy theories also have to remain in the realm of
reality.
a little bit of being palatable, and even if they are true, airing them to anybody's advantage or disadvantage can only be looked at as a place of does it serve the country? And if it serves the country, then I am all for a conspiracy theory. I'm not a truth seeker. I'm only about what serves the country. If it
Yeah.
serves the country, I'll propagate the theory. If it doesn't serve the country, I don't care. So I'm very
So
biased.
coming to the government, Modi साहब has now come up with his government. काफी लोगों ने बोला कि RSS के साथ काफी झगड़े हुए. You worked within the BJP. Um, is does this narrative fit to you कि काफी झगड़े हुए और काफी differences थे?
See, I
Um,
don't know personally speaking, but from what I am picking up, or what the rumor mill is suggesting, that there seems to have been some sort of pulls and pushes from RSS and BJP and BJP cadre. Whether most of it is from Sangh, I don't know. I personally am not from the Sangh, but I have a soft corner for the Sangh. That is because they have been into nation building. Also, I believe that if you look at India, it's got a very heavy footprint of left liberal in all our arts and everything. Some of the never really came to forefront. It was always considered as some sort of a fringe. They had gone so far as to suggest it's some sort of a terror outfit. And
hmm,
some never really looked to correct its image because it's not into image building. Now, if any place is not into image building, that goes to show that they must have some character, and they're doing it selflessly. Otherwise, image building के लिए तो सारे लग जाते हैं ना. If you tell me, Amrita, I can make you look good, तो तू इधर आ जा, मैं तो आ जाऊंगी. Where's the problem? But if you told me कि you'll help 30 people, but you'll be in the background somewhere, then how many people show up that time? So,
yeah,
so
true.
I am an outsider, but common sense dictates that any organization which has said the right thing at the right time can't be all bad. For example, they do say that India is geographically one nation. Okay, so there you may put a tag of religion on it, but they say anybody this side of the Indus is us. We have the same DNA. Now that's a uniting theory. It's not a divisive one. While every other person who says that it's a right wing organization, and right wing not on economics but right wing on terms of religious leanings, I don't agree with them, because it seems that they play more of the religion and caste cards. They're the ones who encashed on all the vote banks. They are the ones who go to the minorities and say, we are your voice, vote for us. They don't say that we'll work for everybody. So you are
Yes.
already dividing. So that's my view on the sung. Whether I'm right or not, who's to say? Common sense tells me
No,
that this
but
is how.
I absolutely agree with you. Honestly telling you, and I'm not saying that as a flattery or anything like that. Trust me, I agree with you because आप लोग जो कर रहे हो in terms of now you look at this. अच्छा, leave alone that. Look at this so-called literally a cash for vote scam here.
हाँ, तो नहीं, ये तो अब आप ब्राइबरी कर रहे हो, उसको गारंटी कार्ड लेके वो घूम रहे हैं बाहर, and we are so used to it that it didn't even shock us. We were more shocked with who believed them anymore. So the shock was, how could they get the votes on this? I mean, they've been doing this their whole lives. Now I hope that guy, उसका क्या नाम है, Vibhor, I think he's the guy who's the lawyer
Yeah, filed the case.
who's filed a case. More part to the guy, because let's bring them to book. Yeah, I mean, it is against the act. It says कि आप ये कर नहीं सकते, वो कर रहे हैं. About time
Can,
we rein them in. Yeah,
but
it
can,
seems that we've just resigned to a fate of these freebies being said as, for all you know, a generation has grown up thinking that this is allowed to be done. This isn't allowed to be done. This is bribery of sorts. You're
you know
buying a
you're
vote.
you're probably, as we were talking offline the other day, one or two batches senior to me, and हमारा जब our generation came into the market, I don't know how much was it at your time, but at my time, nobody wanted to get a government job,
You know,
right?
नहीं नहीं, उस टाइम आग लगी हुई थी to become IAS and IPS, and वो पागल हो जाते थे competition success पढ़ के, and then 24 hours they don't sleep. They like to be civil servants. Why civil servants? Not for because nation building, but because I'll have power. उसकी मम्मी कह रही है कि
Pinsan,
यार,
pinsan,
uh, uh, uh,
pinsan.
yeah. So and then there were matrimonial ads saying IS officer looking for some convent educated bride, and इतने सारे घूम रहे होते थे looking for a babu to marry. So corporate was not even a thing.
मेरे जनरेशन में नहीं था ये, मेरे जनरेशन में नौकरी ढूंढना था.
नहीं, you are just 2 years younger. तेरे generation में भी था
But I
2 years.
don't know, at least I studied in the south. वहां पर इतना नहीं था.
South में नहीं होगा. You know,
हाँ.
north में this was a need by every parent to tell the child to crack the civil services, as if you don't have brains unless you do that. There was no concept about corporate because probably there weren't jobs. And then there was that IT boom that happened, so Sare wanted to do something to do with software. वो भी एक boom था. We actually have jobs now. So
Hmm.
now is when you get paying jobs. Back in the day, either you joined nobody joined the armed forces for money. If you're a
आज
patriot at
आज
heart,
एटलीस्ट जाते हैं लोग आर्म फोर्सेस को ज्वाइनिंग करने के लिए, तो
because
ठीक है.
it is well paying. You're
Yeah.
not said we just go plainly for passion. It is now also that no matter you be passionate, but you'll also be given your dues.
Yeah.
Earlier it was, I'll be passionate, but I'm not going to get anything. I remember my dad's mess bill was always more than his salary.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So those are the days we grew up in socialism.
Yeah. Yeah.
Money
Yeah.
was considered crap, other than a few people making a lot of it. The rest never got anything.
So coming back to today, how do you see this whole Mantri Mandal which has come up? A lot of people are upset with it. A lot of people like me are very happy with it because I like continuity. I like continuity for the factor that it's not going to take them 3 months to figure out karna kya hai. you
See,
know,
I may have my personal likes and dislikes because
yeah, that is obviously there. I also have certain this thing,
I may
but
not
overall,
know enough. I am not the person who has to choose. I'm not the prime minister. I cannot know what are the pulls and pushes. I can only
Mhm.
have an outsider comment. But if I was the prime minister, and going by, if I was to judge the prime minister and going by how he's performed, whether he was CM Gujarat or to date, and he's the third time round here, and he was already three times there. He'd actually won the fourth one also in the state. The guy's got a good track record, and if he's decided on this, then I have to see that what did I miss? What was I thinking? Why was I thinking that that portfolio should go to this one or that? I mean, that's stupid of us to have an analysis on that based on reports. And how do we know what are the pulls and pushes? So as far as I see it, they've all hit the road running. Within the first 100 days, there is going to be no gaps. You're going to have, and the prime minister's he's a tough nut. So he's a hard taskmaster. So he's going to for the next 100 years work everybody to the bone. तो वो तो हमें देखने के लिए मिलेगा. And I am hoping that in the first 100 days we look at a stronger internal security, no misses on our terror attacks, no left wing terrorism. As far as Twitter hell is concerned, on everybody talking opinionated and podcast is concerned, that is still the second step. Your internal security agencies and your infrastructure there has to be at par with the world. Right now, I don't think we are keeping pace.
Hmm.
We've got to. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to sound very bad for it, but if you get into being a surveillance state, it's not a bad idea initially, because I honestly feel that we are going to have a lot of terrorism coming into India, just so that they can take the PM out. They need internal havoc in our nation to have the agencies buckle under pressure. And we are a overpopulous nation, and not all of us are the smartest people. We don't even understand simple things like don't share your OTP and this, that, and the other. You can imagine the amount of how easy and gullible we are. So for a gullible population like us, we need extremely good infrastructures, whether they be IT, whether they be on ground, everything. It'll have to it'll have to keep up with what it's coming our way, and I think a lot is coming our way. I don't want to scare anybody, but it seems like instinct कि हमें क्यों
No,
अकेला
no.
छोड़ेंगे आप.
I've been no. Don't worry. You and I will fall in the same bracket because I've been accused of scaring people for a long time. कि, oh, क्या तू बात करता रहता है ये अटैक वो अटैक कुछ तो होता नहीं है and all that stuff. भाई I want to highlight every attack which is possible जो मेरे को दिखता है कि ये चीज हो सकती है as a narrative, and then if it doesn't happen, good for us. If it does happen, well, there you go.
Look
And
what's
I was
happening in the border crisis in US. This looks
hmm,
like an invasion already happening in these nations without
yeah,
having to use
yes.
military tactics. This is actually, in fact, a military takeover of the nation through civil society.
And why only
And we,
military aged men, please?
yes. So at the border, if you see the amount of backlash that came for CAA and NRC, now those two both go hand in hand. If you are going to take out insurgents out of your nation, there's going to be a backlash by the terrorist groups in the other nations trying to target your community. So you've got to have where you allow that bunch who's getting targeted to come into your nation, because you're going to go after the radicals. Now, these two, I can't for the life of me understand why was there such a backlash, and especially with the youth. They were just simply told that one community is being targeted at the benefit of the majority. Why was something so simple as that the CAA allows only the persecuted minorities to get a fast access into India? Everybody
Into
else is
India.
more than, eh?
Into India, not outside. It's not
Yeah,
throwing anybody outside.
into India, and the channels of old ways of coming into India are still open to you. Nobody closed those channels. So why was there so many protests? Every young kid I meet, they don't listen because they feel that you're probably pro prime minister or BJP or you're right wing, because they have through Insta reels and whatever the other side has kept it simple, and this simple is I don't take it lightly. I think it's well executed, and it has probably got US and Western powers written all over it. like sounding like a conspiracy theory, but we got to live
No,
in the present day. I mean, we
uh,
got how can we be apologetic for thinking such a simple thought?
yeah, I'm the deep state boy, so don't worry about it. I kind of,
No,
understand
but
and
it's
kind of.
amazing that these
Mm,
things you couldn't say just about 3 4 years back. People used to think you're cuckoo. We grew up as slaves or something. We believed that 1.3 billion people have been left unattended by the world, and we are where we are because we are so poor. We are a food surplus nation. We have 4 seasons. We can never go hungry. Our agriculture can never let us down because we have enough in us to sustain us. We are also an economy of scales. Even if we self-consume whatever we make, we still exist. We have everything that we need. Why are we so poor then? Who put in this word socialism? What was this need for putting means of production and distribution under the bureaucratic system? Why wasn't it allowed to be as it should be, where everybody had access? Farms laws gave access to the farmers to go anywhere they wanted, speak to whoever they want, but no, the need for them to be under one mandi. Imagine how counterintuitive. Years and years of brainwashing or whatever, common sense it doesn't seem existent anymore. It's so simple to understand, and why was it not understood? What was this fear mongering? I still haven't wrapped my head around it. I think we have become a nation of Insta reels. I think the government should get into Insta reels and say simple things, which
yeah, well,
like these other guys did.
since you mentioned something about socialists, this whole minority nonsense they keep touting around about. So I have a notification in front of me. This is a notification on minority communities 1993, serial number 816. Wait, just a second. I'll just put it on the screen so that you can also read it. It's amazing what is written here. There you go. They have added minority communities as a community in a separate act, as an addendum, at in 1993.
अब 1993 में देखो मुस्लिम्स का कितना व्हाट इज द are you a minority because you're not the majority, or are you the minority because your numbers are probably below a certain percentage, and that percentage can't be in 2 digits. So you can't be the second biggest religion in the world, the second biggest community in India, and still be a minority. I mean, are we brain dead? I don't understand this. They
It's
are the
crazy.
second most populous community. They are not the minority community. The minorities communities can be the Parsis, the Buddhists, the Jains, maybe the Sikhs, and there may be 100 others which we don't even know because they are genuinely a minuscule bunch.
By the way, if you call a Parsi a minority, he'll whack you.
Yeah, because nobody likes that tag. Why would you want to be labeled as anything when you should be
There,
on competence?
what's 60,000 left in India?
Hmm.
They'll whack you. They don't
So
like
now
being called a
everybody
minority.
wants to be an OBC because it became lucrative.
It became
The Judge
popular.
Six. I'm a Judge Six. I mean, the Judge Six were trying to be a part of OBCs. The Judges were trying. Everybody with any amount of money, like, put me in the OBC. And now everybody is saying, I wish I'd married a scheduled caste or a scheduled tribe or something. I would have, my children would be better educated. Because the whole system is rigged to take the majority out, and majority of what? I don't know. Because the majority in itself has so many layers, and it's got nothing to do with your economic the economic marker is not there. All that is there is what supposedly religion you belong to, and what does that religion have to play into economics? I don't understand. How did this become tolerated for so long, and why is it that the young don't understand this? It is goes against their future, against the Muslim community's future, against the Sikh community's future, against the Hindu community's future. If who wants their child to get into quotas when you would want your child to do better? What is this victim issue constantly? Now everybody, by the way, started playing victim at home. Who's the bigger victim in the house? This one's the bully, father's the bully, the mother's the bully, I'm the victim, and the mother says, no, I'm the victim. It's become a fashion to be a
That
victim.
critical race theory, this is the American
Yeah.
leftist critical race theory. Ki bhai, they can only be two types of people. One is the oppressor, and second is the oppressee. So
Yeah, so
it's
exactly. And what about self-respect? Did we not see? I think a whole generation has been had by these movies by the liberal arts. You don't celebrate success. You don't celebrate
no,
entrepreneurship. You
you
celebrate
don't.
the sad person who got had by 30 people. What the fuck? Sorry.
No, that's fine. This is an open podcast, not meant for children, so don't worry about it. But the factor, like you said, you're a Jat Sikh now. See that's a very interesting this thing, and look at what's happening in Punjab.
So it escapes me why. Um, I'm very proud of my community, or at least I thought, but I am also not a communal person. So I don't, beyond a point, identify under a community tag. I feel that everybody has a brain and they must use it. Okay, if you believe that you are virtuous and you are slightly different from another person, that in itself is wrong. What makes you believe that you are better or worse off than anybody? You are just an expression of God, or we don't believe in the one source. I mean, if you're an atheist and then you say, even for an atheist, then you definitely don't fall into I'm bigger or better, because then you're just religion doesn't matter, caste doesn't matter to me. So either which ways, I don't understand why would a community think it's any different from another one. And this is the Indian issue. By the way, US is now suffering from it. They're more polarized than us, I think, now on the
Yep.
blacks and whites and the
Yeah.
Latinos. But this is a construct that has been enforced on them, and they have lapped it up. But India, as far as I see, the amount of factions that are in India, in fact, unite us, because we are too many factions. You go from one village to the other, to the third, to the fourth. Every person is a different guy with a different thing. Somebody's got a tree he's worshipping. Somebody's got a plant he's worshipping. So even in the Jatsi communities, we've got a whole bunch. For example, I think the Garewals are considered very intelligent, and I don't know what the hell I'm considered, but so they have these markers amongst each other also. So it never ends. Even in your own family, one kid is considered better, and the other one's considered better at that's something else. I mean, how divisive are we going to get, and how far are we going to fall?
But the sad part about Punjab is that it's such a. I've lived in Punjab for some time. I am a Punjabi myself, so there's a this thing. So whenever I speak of Punjab, it comes out of a sense of passion. It comes out of a sense of love. It comes out of a sense of anger when I see what's happening there. The way that the drugs have destroyed the community, the way that foreign influence is basically destroying the community. And I have this theory uh, about this whole Khalistani thing. My theory is very simple. They're not a political organization that we need to be scared of. They're basically a bunch of drug dealers and thugs and criminals who have masked themselves as a political organization to gain some relativity.
I
Nothing
agree.
more than that.
100%. And it is so obvious. I'm amazed that people are missing it, and that could be a lot to do with how India believes that it has been left alone and everything is organic. This is nothing in India, which is a separatist movement, has been organic ever. So to start picking on communities is firstly a bad idea. Second is that do you see how the blacks were ruined in the US through these gang wars and raps and these singers?
Same thing here.
Okay, so you had jazz and they had great music, but then they went into this hip hop and they went into rap and then they had gang wars. Don't you see this? Isn't it obvious that the same playbook is being applied to Punjabi singers? It's the same thing. Whether you see it in New York, they have that old poster of these singers, and they made you the next icons. But what are these people singing? They're singing about drugs.
Same.
They're singing about gangs and the gun violence. And who killed off who in Canada when the Niger was killed off by which gang and all of that, and who's killed off Sidhu Moosewala? These are gang wars. It's the same thing which has been put onto us, and people are believing that that the Sikh community has rallied behind for a separate religion. No, this is a totally foreign play at work here. If any Sikh is foolish enough to believe that he has a separate state, then anyways, I think you got idiots all around with low IQ. Then these IQ people, low IQ people, just anyways take to drugs. So he's going to find a drug dealer which he's going to be a part of, and they'll use him for some shit. But most of the majority of right-thinking people, of course, don't rally behind the idea of it's not an India issue. This is a foreign issue. This is an issue which is being used in Canada. And there was that report, I think it was, where it was MI6, which had set up a cell in Vancouver for
Yeah.
immigration during 84, to have a database on people who left the country post 1984 program, so to say,
So
and
that they could be organized.
so that they could be organized for use later against India.
Yeah.
And those people are part of that. So first,
Yeah.
they have easy access to whatever it be under a religious platform. But how many of them are there who can trouble Punjab? I think India is a very strong state. I
Very
think
strong. Yeah.
so. Don't go by forums,
The
online
noise.
forums.
The
No,
noise.
it doesn't. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
They're gonna
Yeah.
get a kick up the ass.
Yeah, I hope so. So, Modi has his plate full. We've kind of discussed the challenges that he's had, and it's a wonderful talk. By the way, I'm enjoying myself because we are talking about all sorts of things around the place, and that's how our talk should kind of progress into the final thing. But Modi has his
When I
plate
hear
full.
myself later, I realized I wasn't very coherent. So do tell me to stick to some semantics, because I tend to go off into
No, don't worry
liberal
about it.
arts.
See, you know what? What I'm trying to do is get together a amount of a number of nationalists within this country who are from all strata of society. So I've got people from defense. I've got a large people from defense. I've got a huge diplomatic community. I've got people from the intelligence services. I've got people from the educational services. I've got professors, doctors in various different fields. I've got experts in terms of these foundations, Vivekananda Foundation, and so on. So people coming and talking. I've got just people, regular people like you and me, who come and talk as well. So
That's great. So
so
a voice from
it's
all
a
sections of
yeah,
society.
from
Yeah.
all sections. And funny thing is, Amrita Ji, if I may, uh,
Thank
is
you.
that the voice is the same in all the segments. And you go through my podcast, you will realize the voice is the same. It's the
We are the
Bharatiyata. It's
same
the
people.
sense
We
of
think the
yeah,
same way. We have the same DNA. We have been told that we are different. We are not. So, like you
yes,
yourself are seeing that no matter who you spoke to, if their country first, they say the same things.
yep, yep,
It
yep,
is only a person who's got a tailor-made toolkit say something differently, and it also comes across very awkwardly. You can pick it up because it doesn't come from their heart.
hmm. So let's talk about the BJP now back again. Modi's got his plate full. He's got his new cabinet. BJP has taken a little bit of a beat. You work with the organization. How do they kind of um, manthan, as they call it? How do they do that?
I my stint, I'll call it a stint, though. I I was treated very well in the organization, and I became a spokesperson from BJYM. I got a call from the president of BJYM. He said, "आपका नाम 3 बारी लिस्ट में आया, हमने तो काटा था, आप है कौन, आता रहता है." तो I said, "किसने डाला?" कहता, "हमें क्या पता किसने डाला, we don't know." So I still don't know who gave my name and why was I made, and they didn't even know where I stay, whether I'm in Gurgaon or I'm in Chandigarh or I'm in the hills. So the Chandigarh team reached out, and he said, "आप किसको जानते हैं?" I said, "मैं तो किसी को नहीं जानती." He said, "आपकी family BJP से है?" I said, "No, my father's from the armed forces. My whole family is from the armed forces." So then I don't know what happened. Media channels called me up or whatever, and then there I was talking. I have no idea about politics. I have no clue. There was no manual given. There was no, for example, my first TV interview was with CNN, and I took a anti-BJP stand because there was this girl. I think the girl was IS officer's kid. I don't want to name her. Why bring up that issue again? Who had got chased by somebody associated with the party. Okay, at late at night. So I felt that an FIR needs to be filed and immediately filed. And this is beyond politics. This is simple stuff. And this is what BJP stands for. So BJP is law and order first. It doesn't care for who's this guy, what I have to do, should I be taking up for them. This was not even on the ever said. So when I later when I realized that maybe I should, am I supposed to or whatever, but of course I wouldn't have. I would have gone with whatever is the legal route. So I let me tell you that the party, not one single person said that that was wrong. The party backs people who are whistleblowers. They want to do the right thing. Their instinct is always to do the right thing. Whether it plays out execution or all after a whole few years, we don't know. But the uh, the instinct is always to do the right thing. That is what the party was and is. So the reason I quit is because. I'm probably not the right person for the job. I may see, I see what's on. I don't stick to the topic. I tend to go off the topic, and then I get into a lot of theories. Those theories are standing true now. It may have educated the people who are listening. And this is not out of in politics. I tend to go into geopolitics. So we weren't ready for the time. This is 2019. So 2019 to talk about geopolitics, to think, bring out the word socialism. Why was the word socialism put in your constitution? Every time the other side would come up, I wouldn't stick to the topic. I would say, look back in time. We wouldn't be here for if these things hadn't gone, and that was across party lines. So I
Hmm.
probably didn't fit the bill for the job at the time, and I thought that I should step away from this. I don't know if it's the right thing. I got no backlash. Everybody was good. I got promoted at got into the NEC, but not a politician at heart. I don't watch what I say,
You
and but
shouldn't.
not that I got a backlash.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't. I don't either. See, honestly, for me, the this whole journey has been really interesting because I started talking about geopolitics. And I put a thing in front of me saying that I will not talk about domestic politics, all this daily ka jhandat. I'm not getting into. Something big happens, fair enough. I'll talk about it. But I'm not getting into this daily rat race. Rahul Gandhi ने आज जैसे वो हमारी मीडिया में नहीं होता राहुल स्लैम्स मोदी अबे ये स्लैम क्या होता है यार तुम क्या WWF खेल रहे हो क्या चोक स्लैम मार
And
दिया
ये
बॉडी स्लैम मार दिया
आपकी repeat चला हुआ है for the
हाँ
last 10 years, 15 years. आप हटते नहीं हो यार. I mean, it is now, it is brain dead panels. I don't
yeah
understand
yeah
what the hell are they fighting for. Not one panel like you can, after the discussion is over at a media panel, you go away with some solution in hand.
no
It is only quick wit and who got the better and who lost the shirt.
yeah and some
So
people prepare for it and come and fire up like facts and this and that what does that give
it doesn't serve the country's bigger need. It's a political space which a lot of people are in the scrounging for to seem relevant. It doesn't add up to us telling the youth how to think better. For
yeah
example, I know a teacher. She said that I have asked my children, the kids in my class, to stop watching the news. She says it is. There was a time when we used to say watch the news. Now I think that it will bring anger and hate, and we said switch off the TV. Imagine, imagine that this is the current discourse, and this is not in India. This is across the world.
oh
It is just plain
in
noise.
India at least it's a little cleaner my god in America
Uh,
it's so dirty
it's
sheesh
noise, and it's what are you teaching? There are no manners. There people are speaking over each other. In fact, the anchors encourage it. They cut the
hmm.
person halfway if they don't, and then the other guy runs off, and then he has to quickly. Mostly, I, by the way, couldn't keep up with the cameras and the talks because how can you cut another person? If the person is speaking, let the person speak whatever the hell they want to speak. So I normally was like a zombie sitting there. I never understood the format. It's not a format which I like.
Yeah, I mean, this is better. Like, this is a
Of
conversation. You
course,
sit down.
there is there's a
Even
back
if we
and
have an
forth.
argument, it is a back and forth. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly. You read my mind. So, what do you say about Modi's kind of game to bounce back? And that's the main subject of main thing that I put on the thumbnail. How does he bounce back, or can he bounce back, or will he bounce back, or should he bounce back, or would he bounce back? There's so many questions, right? And
he's back.
so.
I'm back. The Terminator, no, I'll be back. He's back.
But what do you think that bounce back will be? Will we? Because I
Oh,
believe,
it's
and
good.
let me put that across first. What I believe, they've injured the lion. They've
Yes,
injured him. They didn't kill him. If they wanted him out, they should have killed him politically. That is not physically. They didn't. They injured him, and you know what happens, right? When you get injured by someone,
yes. So now I have a theory here. I think the Prime Minister knew what's coming at him. He just wanted to know the names and faces of those who brought it to him. And now he's got a clarity on who stands where. This is what Trump did. Trump had also wanted his enemies to expose themselves. Right now, the Prime Minister knows completely where everybody stands, and he probably knew what's coming at him,
see, I
and
told
he's
you this
not
is
being
going to be fun.
surprised.
Sorry, I told you this is going to be fun. So awesome. Go on.
So, and there are no there's nobody behind the smoke screen anymore. Everybody, whoever did whatever, is known to the Prime Minister. So now that he knows and he is the Prime Minister, what do you think is going to happen? And this guy is not used to losing.
घर में घुस के मारेंगे.
Has he ever? Has he ever?
No.
So there is nothing to think. I mean, exit polls could say whatever the hell they wanted. The Prime Minister played along, but the Prime Minister is smarter than anybody else. And he wants you to have common sense. If you look at common sense, he said it so many times that the reason I gave 400 power is that they'll at least talk about at least we get past 270. He gave you the number right there.
Actually, he
So
had said
he,
270.
yes. So now, so there are a lot of people who want to think that he's got taken it. No, no, the guy's too smart. And
Yeah.
it's not like a demigod. It's just a guy who's into strategy and he reads and he's got his ear to the ground. And people say he's a megalomaniac, but is he? Because he
You
has
gotta be.
allowed people. No,
You
no,
gotta
he's
be
not.
at that position. You need to be. If
No,
if a prime
all
minister is
the
not a
people who criticize.
megalomaniac, I'd not like him.
I don't think so. I think he allows people to say what he wants and he allows people to suck up to him so that he can understand who stands where. And normally,
That's his
uh,
way of doing things.
yeah. So, to my mind, I think the
No,
prime
you're
minister
right.
is.
You're right.
So the thing is that a megalomaniac would be somebody who would like to hear what he wants to hear. That's not true for him, because if you see
No,
his prediction was
he,
different from what everybody else was saying, and he is not sure. And how
I'll
is it
say
that
that
he had
he
already
gets
met
people in, and
Chandrababu
yeah,
Naidu?
yeah,
He had a meeting with Chandrababu Naidu long back.
yeah. Pre-poll.
So and he did say that we are going to go separate from TDP. So we'll see. The thing with the Prime Minister, I honestly feel, is that we come from a place of what we come from. That guy has inputs coming in from a lot of places, and he has been in Gujarat, where when he became the chief minister, that place was a hellhole. After that, for him to have fixed it doesn't simply come as a good administrator. He's got very good intel. He's probably got very good confidants, which we'll never know. And I don't think they're in the public sphere. And I think they're not limited to just political analysts, and could be very much bigger than that.
You know what I meant by a megalomaniac is he listens to everybody, but then does what he wants to
Yeah,
within the
yeah.
framework of kind of listening to people and stuff like that.
Also, it
But he's
suits
not.
him to think you're a everybody thinks
Yeah.
he's a megalomaniac. He likes that. I think he's a bit of a troll. So he
Why
likes
shouldn't he
to.
like that? And that's why I said if he didn't project that image, I'd not like him because
Yeah, yeah.
being
No,
that
no.
gives a certain
But
strength.
you'll take him lightly. See,
Yeah,
then you'll take him lightly. The
yeah,
opposition has taken the guy very lightly.
very
All
lightly.
the people who were trying to suck up to him took him too lightly. He just got to know them better.
So, and this is something I must say, this is a very, very good way of looking at things. And I'll kind of agree with what you said in terms of uh, letting people in and then kind of figuring out, okay. And that's something I see. There's this, I won't name her, journalist. Um, she started pretty solid, well known journalist. She started kind of being more pro Modi, pro BJP, and this and that. And this is from her, I think, 16, 17. I think post 19, right? Let me just say that very clearly. Before that, it was a very centrist sort of an approach, uh, where it was, no, 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 he's got a lot of issues. Back in the day, it was like that. It wasn't acrimony, but it was still not standing there. But then after 19, when people started seeing, yaar, ye to Ganga ulti bahni shuru ho gayi hai, we've got the game in this side. So everybody started kind of, flowing in that direction. Today, I see this lady. Uh, this was a good fight given by the opposition. Really?
These people say whatever the hell they want. They just use a few words to sound articulate, but most of their have any of their predictions come right? Have any of their recommendations that they made stand recommendable 5 years later? These people never kept up with the times. They said demonetization was for black money. I said back then it's not for black money. It is to make India a cashless transaction to have a better system. And then the better system, the platform that happened was the UPI. Now they said no, you couldn't have known back then. How could you know? But you at least had the know that it's always connected dots. He's going somewhere with it. This line is going to go further. It's not the end. So most people, when they stick with that topic at that moment, they're taking the guy lightly. That's you should see what direction is he headed into now. That is the first step he's taken. Then there's going to be, so whether COVID was already a known factor, were the agencies which knew that some sort of a pandemic is coming our way? I don't know, but he was so ready for it. We could do the Paytm in time. Many lives were saved. If you see how the vaccination registration and its distribution
Yeah.
was rolled out,
Yeah.
and people have a lot of anger against the vaccination, but I'll say this: that the ours was a vectoral viral, the Covishield, and the Covaxin was the old school vaccination. It has nothing to do with what Pfizer and Moderna and Johnson and Johnson are, which are mRNA, messenger RNA. That plays with your DNA. Okay, so now if you see vaccine Maitri, the Prime Minister did try and help people get the better, safer vaccines from India to countries he thought he could do well by. People didn't understand it back in the day. People are like, why is he doing this? He's trying to show off. No, he's trying to save lives. For I think COVID in itself was not good for your heart. So whether it is a vaccine injury of Indian vaccine injury, or whether it is to do with your exposure to the disease, we are not going to know. It's still speculation. But my gut instinct tells me that ours were the safest. And if we
Yep.
hadn't rolled them out, we would be in massive shit right now. And he
There's
made
no
a
question.
recommendation. Yeah, for Covaxin. He took Covaxin himself. He said
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So what this is the last topic for our podcast right now. I could go on hours. This is a very interesting conversation, but what direction is he headed in? And that's something that I would want to ask you.
I think he's going to be a voice for Global South, but taking that line out of any newspaper is just that. But I think we are going to. This is a longer discussion, but I'll try and say it simply. We are going to be part of the countries which bring down the petrodollar. We are going to be part of the countries which make this world a multipolar world, and we are going to make all world agencies a voice for the rest who were ignored till date. It will be not limited to the rules based order which was decided by a few for the many, and that in itself is a world war.
I think you and I will be very good friends. Let me just say that because we have similar points of view. And Amrita ji, I am so happy that I connected with you, and thank you so much for connecting back. And let me just say this to all the guys: she's been one of the easiest people that I've connected with. She was so sweet. She just said, "Ha ha, let's do." Fantastic conversation here, and of course, all offline as well. Let's hope we
Thanks,
can
Adi.
continue. I would love to continue our podcasts. At least once a month or something like that, so that we can talk about shit which is happening around and try and make some sense out of it in a very simple, acha, raha chalta way, which is not difficult for anybody to understand. So thank you so much, Amrita ji, for
Yeah, no
coming, for
problem.
taking out the time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.